So honestly, I had no idea what relevance the Al Stewart song Roads to Moscow bear to Jack Kerouac's scattered poems. This is the latest book review, and this is a pretty nice compilation of Mr. Kerouac's work. Some came from San Francisco Blues, one of his books. Some of his Western haiku from Book of Haiku, and many other fun surprises. Two great tributes to one of my favorite poets in the world, Allen Ginsberg. And one of his pieces that really got to me was his wonderful dynamic tribute to Arthur Rimbaud, and it's just called Rimbaud. Now, a lot of people refer to Mr. Kerouac as King of the Beats. I'm afraid I don't concur. I actually see Allen Ginsberg as King of the Beats, but as Mr. Ginsberg pointed out, words like beatnik and hippie were stereotypes of the media and the newspaper. There were no beatniks, there were no hippies. They have their own groups, no doubt, but why label them? You know. I'll be reading a couple of poems from here. While reading this, I could not decide which ones I wanted to read for this review, so I'm picking two. Deal with it. There are actually 3 drafts, including the final draft, I believe, of Pull My Daisy. And if you don't know Pull My Daisy, the very first draft, which was called Fi My Fum, was written by both Ginsberg and Kerouac. And then the 2 other drafts were written by Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, and Neal Cassady, another beat. Now, there's this great black and white film. I believe it was made in the late 50s, and it was called Pull My Daisy, and ran on for a good half hour, and the entire film was narrated by Kerouac, and he ad-libbed the whole bloody thing. I was really taken aback with that, and I love compilations like this, where it gives a more versatile background of the poet's work and not just one theme. Don't get me wrong, I love an artist's work based on theme, but it's really nice to have a more vast set of a selection of work. So one of the pieces I'll be reading, let me see here. Rimbaud is a tad long, so I'll pick a shorter one. Let me see here. I'm going to read one of his tributes to Ginsberg. Let me see here. To Allen Ginsberg. To Allen Ginsberg. Used to smear my lips with whiskey, Fred and open up the doors to make a joke, while women waited and Bert Lahr waited, playing what he wanted like Duke Ellington. Used to sit staring at Seymour, who implied to me the swing of the music by his low crash, high abidin' shoulders, pop, and what, how, who, thoth, had, nape, compose vehicle, special, banana, 9, written in 1959. And you'll see in some of Kerouac's work, along with many others of his generation, is that he loved playing around with the typewriter. If it makes out a certain shape, it's known as concrete poetry. I wrote a poem that was about a diamond, and I made it in the shape of a diamond. Many pieces in here are just called poem. I really like that. It leaves it wide open. Some, it doesn't even say the word untitled. There's just no title whatsoever. The poem just begins, and threw me for a loop at first, but I really dig that approach. Now let me see here. The other one, 5. I absolutely love his spiritual poems. Along with Allen Ginsberg, they, the Eastern religions, Buddhism, was a large theme in both of their work. And this is one of the no-title pieces I was speaking of. It starts off, the Buddhist Saints. The Buddhist saints are the incomparable saints, wooing continue of love milk, mewling and purling with lovely voices for love, for perfect compassionate pity without making one false move of action, perfectly accommodating commiserations for all sentient, belaboring things. Passive sweet saints, waiting for your holyhood, hoping for your eventual join in their bright confraternity. Perfect divines, I can name some. What's in a name? They were saints of the religion of the awakening from the dream of existence and non-existence. They know that life and death, the knowing of life, muteness of death, are mutual, dual, twin opposites, conceptioning on each side of the truth, which is the pivot in the center, and which says, neither life nor death, neither existence nor non-existence, but the central lapse and absence of them both. 1956 has a little question mark at the end of 1956 because it may have been written either that year or 1955. So, some of his pieces are more comical, some which certain groups would consider blasphemous. Another tribute to Lucien Caron here, who was also involved in the Beat generation. Of course, you may know him, Mr. Kerouac, as the novelist for On the Road, Subterraneans. I'm crazy about his poetry. There's another book called Poems of All Sizes. I think there's one called Mexico City Blues, if I'm not mistaken. And quite a few others. So, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this book review. Get your copy of Jack Kerouac's Scattered Poems. I'm trying my best to collect all of his work. I'm crazy about him. Poetry lives! The bottom and before dawn. Oh, you're still here. Oh,